10 o'clock, I'm going to call the Thursday, June 29th, 2023 meeting to Board of Equalization meeting to order. First item is roll call. Mr. Brett Town.
Present.
Miss Eleanor Thompson.
Present.
And I'm Patrick Crawley, and I'm here. Notice of the meeting was properly posted. We have the first item is discussion and possible action regarding approval of the minutes of June 6th, 7th, and 8th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of the May 12th, May 15th, and May 19th, 2023 meetings.
Second.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Oh, wait a
I was
minute.
gonna say, I don't.
Am I on the wrong one?
You might be.
Yeah,
Okay, pardon me.
It's June 6th,
I'm sorry.
7th, and 8th.
I'm sorry. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to amend that, withdraw that motion and submit that we approve the minutes of the meetings as presented on the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we've got 12 properties before the board today. The first one is BOE 135, 1818 South Meridian. That's account number ending in 3950. Apparently, taxpayer wanted to stand on the fact that they're under appeal on another one and just want to throw this in the mix. So what say the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we accept the assessor's valuation and approve the market value of this property at $6,600,000.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that brings us to BOE number 164. That's account number ending in 1000. It's the property at 19501 North Penn. It's an apartment complex, the Point in North Penn. The assessor has that final value at $15.6 million. Taxpayer wants $13,260,000. What say the board? Oh, one of the issues may be that the dock stamps on their building of this thing was $15.6 million. But anyway, what say the board?
I'm trying to remember if this one had a physical inspection. I circled the original. I know that it got dropped to 15.6, and I circled that my recommendation was gonna be 16,019,360.
Okay. I notice it's 97% occupied.
And there was no income information given. by
Yeah.
the-
Right. What, Mr. Town, what do you think?
Well, I was going to lean more to the assessor's adjusted valuation of 15.6. I did not feel like the taxpayer proved their point to lower it to $13,260,000.
I agree, not sufficient evidence to overcome the statutory presumption that the assessor's value is correct at $15.6 million. Do I have a motion?
So I move that we set the fair market value of BOE number 164 at $15,600,000.
Second.
Wait a minute. You say 15 million?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought I heard 6 million. All right, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, brings us to BOE number 179. It's a property, it's a Dillard's at 1901 Northwest Expressway. Assessor has it at $8,457,248, which is a little lower than last year's value of $8,742,000. What say the board?
No, last year, okay. It started out at 10,094,000 and dropped it to 8,457,248.
Yes.
That's my recommendation is 8,457,248.
I can concur with that and go along with that.
You have a motion?
I move that we set the fair market value of BOE number 179, which is the Dillard's at Square at $8,457,248.
Let's second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it brings us to BOE number 180, it's number 5 on our docket today. It's 2501 West Memorial, it's another Dillard's. The assessor reduced its initial value down to $4,162,238. What say the board?
I agreed with the assessor's value, dropped it right at $900,000 from its initial assessment.
I concur that I believe the assessor's valuation is fair and proper.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would recommend that on, let me get this right this time, BOE number 180, that we set the fair market value of this property at $4,162,233.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. To BOE number 161, which is number 6 on our docket. It's the property at 13810 North Penn, Memorial Square. The assessor's value I have at $2,369,675. Taxpayer wants $1,284,789. What say the board?
This one gets a little more complicated to me because it's basically there's no tenant for about 2/3 of the year, property year. I just don't know if I can concur completely with the assessor's valuation since it's not any income producing property. I'd like to hear what some of the other board members think about that.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, it's not even a 200, it's only about $150,000 differential in the valuation.
Well, no, I've got it about a 1.1 million, isn't it? Taxpayer wanted 1.284789.
1.2,
Right.
1.2.
And the assessor's value was 2369675.
This was the former Bravo restaurant.
Yeah, this one we did there was a sales evaluation by the assessor. This is a ground lease. The owner owns the entire shopping center.
Right.
And this is just one part of it. I don't have recorded what the value was in 22. Did you record what the value?
2,682,185, but I believe it was occupied. It wasn't an income producing at that time.
Part of
Assessor,
the
you
year.
can-
Part of the year, right? Just a part of the year.
I believe it
When it was
originally
Bravo.
closed and then opened
Reopened.
and then it's closed.
It closed in April of 23.
If I can recall that, yes. Yeah.
Okay, what did you think?
Well, because we bring it up to the end of the year, still occupied, as the assessor says there, I didn't see sufficient evidence again to overcome the statutory presumption of the assessor's value of $2,369,675.
Did you have a suggested value?
No, I just really struggled with this one because I think it was April of, I'm probably wrong on that. I can support the assessor's value.
Okay, so I move that we set the fair market value of BOE number 161 at $2,369,675.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, brings us to BOE 172, number 7 on our docket. It's property at 14200 North Santa Fe in Edmond, Benny Keith Company. Looks like the assessor reduced it quite a bit at
Yeah.
informal. from 27, almost 28 million, down to 24,703,498. The taxpayer wants 22,020,033.
Right, I'm not gonna vary from the assessor's evaluation on that. That was a $3,200,000 drop in their initial valuation.
Yeah.
I can concur on that, using the income approach on both of them. The taxpayer used a 9% vacancy rate, the assessor used a standard 5%, sort of the industry rate. And I think that's the difference in their calculations. One is asking 9, the other is 5. So I can support the assessor's valuation. So, Mr. Chairman, on BOE number 172, I move that we set the fair market value at $24,703,498.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 181 on our docket, it's property at 8300 North May Avenue. It's a senior care facility. I could purchase it in December of '22 for $2,750,000. But then they got a mortgage on it for $4,738,000. I just did a rough calculation that ordinarily a mortgage company is going to be about 20% below the actual value of the property, which would have made it at $5,685,600. So at the end of the day, the assessor's value, which is less than that, seems to be the fair market value.
And that would be $5,172,000, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I agree. I came up with the same process of adding 20% back. And in 2012, this property was valued at $9.5 million. I just don't see a 92,000 square foot facility for $2.7 million. So I more than support the assessor's valuation on this property. So, Mr. Chairman, on BOE number 181, I would move that we set the fair market value at $5,172,000 for this property.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that brings us to number 9 on our docket, is BOE number 130. This is a property over there on Cole Road. It's got various addresses. This is a distribution warehouse.
Right.
This is a property that they, in the informal, they didn't provide any
Right.
documentation.
Yeah.
Yes,
I kind of found out that in the middle of our discussion with him, even though he was giving us data, it wasn't presented. I think that sort of invalidates their valuation since there's no backup to it. So I could fully support the assessor's valuation.
So did I.
I did too.
So, Mr. Chairman, on BOE number 130, I move that we set the fair market value of this property at $33,881,620.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that brings us to BOE 131, number 10 on our docket. This is the property at 2021 South Villa, owned by a lumber group. And again, I think this was one where
They didn't
they
present
didn't
anything.
present anything. I don't think he had anything.
A letter. It was more they wanted the cap put back on the taxable value. They
Right.
provided that letter saying it was the same group.
Even though it's sold and the cap comes off.
Yes.
Right. And then there wasn't an arm's length transaction. This person actually either joined the purchasing company as an officer on the board or part of management. So I think that invalidates, you know, their valuation request.
I agree. Well, if the letter doesn't comport with the statutory requirement of the formal appeal form.
Right.
Yep.
So, you know, in my judgment, they're out at the get-go. So, what, do I have a motion?
I move that we set the value of, the fair market value of BOE number 131 at $3,778,154.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, brings number 11 on our docket. It's 101, property at 101 East Main Street. I think there was no information presented or no evidence presented at the informal. Again, I don't think that the agent didn't get anything from the taxpayer, so, what say the board?
Well, and additionally, there was a sales price at January 4th, 2022 of $10,333,540, which is the valuation that the assessor uses. So, Mr. Chairman, in reference to BOE number 132, I move that we set the fair market value of this property at $10,333,540.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. That gets us to the little bit stickier issue here. BOE number 12, BOE number 178 is number 12 on our docket. It's the property at 1 North Broadway. This is the Sheridan Hotel in downtown Oklahoma City. At least he had some evidence, what say the board? Oh, the the assessor has it at, finally, $38,612,000, came down from $39.4 million. The taxpayer wants $26,330,053. What say the board? Go ahead.
This is the one where we were presented with what they thought were the reasonable comps. He said that this hotel is struggling, but I never heard of a percentage of occupancy. And there's quite a bit, there's a $12,000 differential in what they're wanting, 12 million, I'm sorry, differential in what they want is the valuation. But I didn't have any quarrel with the analysis done by the assessor.
This is just one that's a little bit odd because it's a very, I mean, at one point, this was the best hotel in Oklahoma City.
That is correct.
Right.
And now it's not coming near to that. I didn't hear any occupancies, but we did see the valuation or the income per room was significantly lower than some of the others that, I think it was $64,000 a room sale, which would give an income approach of about 27 million. And they didn't add the, what I would call the marketing part or the naming of it in there as well. Still, that would only take it to 28 million. I think that's still low, but I don't know if this is can be compared to comparables like the Loft or the Skirvin. The Skirvin is valuing out at $98,000 a room.
Right.
So I'd be willing to look at something maybe a little bit lower than the assessor's valuation. I'm comfortable with it, but I just feel like this hotel is probably a little bit on the downslide.
What'd you have?
Well, I was kind of in the same vein. I was struggling with this. Oh, the flag is Sheridan, which is a profitable flag. I didn't hear anything about the flag from Sheridan Corporation being in danger of losing it. But yeah, you're right, the difference here is significant, but and I don't know that we can compare the Skirvin necessarily. This is a hard one to do because there's just not a lot of other hotels that would be comparable. So I could go with the assessor's value or something lower, just, what say the board?
How much lower did you wanna go?
Well, I looked at two approaches. One was the kind of sort of between those three hotels, the average key price is, even with the Skirvins, Skirvins is $135,000. The Loft is $68,000, which is still, I believe that's higher than the Skirvins. That approach would set the value at $31,751,000. If we looked at an average between the taxpayers' request and the assessors, we're at $32,471. I don't know if those are too far away from the assessor's valuation to be valid, but those were only two ways I could look at it.
I could settle on a specific number that
He
you
said
want to move.
32. Well, you said
Well, I
that was
would
kind
use
of
the higher
that's
of,
true.
I would use the higher of the two if we were going to go this route.
What was the highest?
32,471,26. There's just something about this hotel right now. It just seems like it looks like with the rates, occupancy rates, and the income per room, this looks like one that is still, it's downtrending at least for this year. I don't know. That's just my feelings myself.
Okay, and that's $32,471,026.
Yeah, I'm certainly open to any other board member who would want to do something different though, or look at it maybe differently.
Ms. Thompson?
I guess the problem, the issue I had with the evidence presented by the taxpayer was that he was not giving me a vacancy rate. If he was saying they were struggling and they couldn't keep occupancy, let's say, above 60%, that's an issue. But he didn't give me that information, so if I were to drop, I wouldn't drop it to 32. And I see what you did,
I'm just trying to
You
use the
split the
data
difference.
that's available.
yeah, do you remember what, did we use, do you remember what our cap rate was on this?
I do not, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I think at 10.3
That's what they used.
they used. I don't know what you all,
Um,
because you all could use up to 11, correct?
Yes, a good chance we use 10.25 or 10.5.
Yeah, I had them at 2.5.
I could, if I'm gonna back off of the, assessor's value, I could drop it to 35 million,
I would be comfortable with that.
Even?
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Do I have a motion?
I move that we set the fair market value of BOE number 178 at 35 million.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Brings us to the end of the docket. I see no citizens. Any comment? Next week, we're not gonna be here at all. When's the next time?
No,
So
I
you
thought we
will
were
be here
coming
for
Monday.
excise.
Oh,
Excise.
I'll be here for excise.
Excise, yeah, we'll be here for excise
Oh.
money, because they can't.
If you're thinking tax roll.
Oh, I'm thinking tax roll.
Nah, I gotta
we'll
mix
be
that
here
too,
Monday.
you're good.
At 9:30.
9:30.
Correct, and it's gonna be a doozy, so bring a snack,
30-some items right now.
at least, yeah.
Yeah, nobody has any authorization to spend until they present, so,
Correct.
yeah.
All right.
All right. Any comments from the assessor? Okay,
I move we adjourn.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
There was a